And just like we said earlier on, the news has been confirmed that Fabianski has got a cheekbone fracture and eye socket as well. So not great for him. But welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your David Moyes press conference. This is where we go through all of the press conference that he's done. It's an early one today because, of course, we take on Manchester United tomorrow evening in the FA Cup. So Moyes was a busy man, asked lots of questions ahead of the game when at one point we thought we had a fully fit squad, how very quickly things can change. Anyway, before we get started, if you are new around here, please hit the subscribe button. Give us a big boost if you can. We're on the march towards 20,000 subscribers. We're close to 15 though. Close to 15. We just need another 5,000 this year and then we'll be happy men. So get yourselves over there and get subscribing to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. Give us your comments. Leave your feedback, please. It really does help us out as well. And we do appreciate all of the feedback that you do give to us, of course. But without further ado, I'd be as well getting started on the presser for today. So the first question up for Mr. David Moyes was about team news. And he said, we've got a squad available and ready to go. We've got a few injuries. Lucas Fabianski, which is the news, obviously, I brought you earlier this morning, but it's been officially confirmed now, has got a fractured cheekbone and an eye socket. So we haven't got everything sorted in terms of whether we're getting it operated on or letting it heal itself. But we do anticipate, before I carry on for the rest of the press conference, that this will be a kind of reasonably long-term injury for him. Vladimir Coufal also, he hobbled off against Nottingham Forest at the weekend, and a heel injury will keep him out. Danny Ings, of course, is cup-tied. What do you think? Let me just see if I can give you an actual physical answer from eye socket fracture. So what do you think about that? You know, it then really does give Areola the opportunity that we've been calling for. You never want the situation to be that a player is injured for that player to make the step up to the plate. But that's just what's happened, and it's unfortunate for him. But it has now given an opportunity for, of course, Areola to come into the team, and it was a fantastic save that he did make. Now, listen, according to several things online, it can depend on how bad the fracture is. But if you went into surgery, it could last as long as 2 to 4 months after surgery if the player does go down the surgery route. Now, we do know footballers do try their best to avoid surgery as much as they can, and things can start to improve after a week, but he will not be playing football. I would be surprised, minimum for a month as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Next up, though, he was asked about Danny Ings, and obviously he got a brace at the weekend against Nottingham Forest. He is cup-tied, of course, for this game. He said, we've been short with the injury to Gianluca Scamacca. We brought Danny in to give us extra cover, and we were trying to get someone in who could get us goals. He got a couple of goals on his first start, which is great for him and great for us, and now we want him to maintain that in the league. So, you know, very interesting, because obviously he's not going to get a run out in the FA Cup again due to being cup tied, so that will probably allow other players to get that vital game time that they need, and probably gives you a nod to the fact that maybe Danny Ings is going to start the game against Brighton as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the tactics will be for West Ham coming out of the FA Cup game going into the Premier League game. But hopefully we'll see a little bit of Scamacca. You've got another player fighting in the background there down in the academy, and that is Divine Mubama. 19 goals so far this season between the 21s and the 18s. He's on fire. He is lightning right now, and he is knocking on the door of that first team, definitely challenging and giving Moyes something to think about. Next up, he was talking about the team mood, the morale around the team. He said, we've got a good mood around the camp. I've always felt the players were in good spirits. We focused really well on Nottingham Forest. I'm really pleased with how the players performed, and hopefully we can build on it. And I think you can see the morale around the team. You know, they dropped their morale when we had that terrible start to the season. It's not been great. It's not been fantastic. But if you can start to connect with the right players and the right team, build that momentum, get that confidence, then that can only but help the situation. And that definitely will breed confidence. Confidence breeds confidence, doesn't it? Of course, after all. He was then asked about the form of West Ham, and he said, I think the biggest difference was we finished off our opportunities. We went a lot of period where we didn't score, and it looked like it might be our like our previous games. But in the end, we got a 1 goal, and I think the biggest thing was we got our second goal so quickly after. The players went out and showed what they can do. We had a really good team performance. Apart from the result against Tottenham, we've done okay, and hopefully this will keep that going. We need to try and climb the league table, but now we've got an away game in the FA Cup, and next week an away game in the Europa Conference League. So we've got a lot to look forward to. We do. And, you know, some people have said that it's a welcome distraction away from the Premier League. But for me, absolutely it is. But what we do need is to build that momentum. So I think a lot of people, I think it's going to be a second string team. I think what you'll see is a really strong mix of what you would expect to be our Premier League team and also what you'd expect to be our cup team as well. So you may see players like Fornals feature, who hasn't been featuring a lot recently. Defensively, obviously, we've got a situation back there, so we need to maintain. Will Zuma get a bit of game time in preparation for Brighton? So a lot of things to consider moving forward for West Ham, but definitely form is better than what it has been, and we want that momentum to build and keep that confidence going within the team as well. Next up, he was talking about the quick turnaround, because we have a relentless amount of games coming up, and he says that we are having to think closely about how we do things. I'd love to get West Ham to a cup final, and I'd love to win a cup final. We've got there with Everton 1 year, and I'd love to take West Ham into a similar position. Going to Old Trafford is always a really difficult game, and we've drawn them something like 3 out of 4 years away from home in a cup competition. The draws in this competition have been really difficult so far away from home, but let's go out and try and win this one, and that would be a huge one. Let's not underestimate Manchester United in any way, any circumstances at all, because they are utilising their squad and have been throughout this season, and their squad are performing. They're back on fine. They're finding a bit of form under Ten Hag, and there's players there that maybe were lost over the last couple of seasons that have found a bit of form under this manager. So we are going to be, whatever team is going to be lining up there, they're going to be all wanting to fight for a position in that team, showing Ten Hag the reason why they should be in the starting 11, and vice versa, though. The same will be for West Ham. So it's going to make for an interesting cup. It's just annoying when you do get the same team year in and year out. It gets a little bit repetitive, a little bit boring. You're looking for something a bit more exciting, something a bit different. But it'd be good if we could get through. Obviously, the focus will be we need to stay in the league. That's monumental, numero uno for West Ham fans, and of course for David Moyes and the West Ham team. But of course, we're in 2 other cups, so you know we could try and push for a final. That would be fantastic. Imagine what that would do for morale. Imagine going on and winning a cup as well when people least expect it. Staying up and winning a cup would be huge for our club. It really, really would be. It would be the sign of all things turning around, and we need to keep that momentum going. I'm going to keep saying it. Momentum's the key word for me right now. Only a few more slides to go through, and that is on Manchester United. He said everyone has seen a much improved Manchester United. It was a tight game on Sunday, but Man United got there in the end. It's a good time to play them. I don't know about that. He said, is it a good time to play them? He says, I don't know about that. They've got a good group of players, but we feel we're improving, and hopefully we can put on a good show. And we will need to put on a good show because we've got many fans travelling up the road to the Old Trafford game midweek as well. And it's not, no matter what anyone says, you know, you say priority here, priority there. Moyes will not go into this game in a defeatist attitude. He doesn't want that. He's now built up a bit of a positivity environment apart from the Tottenham game. As you said earlier on, he will want to keep that, you know, keep that confidence, lock it up, throw away the key, and not lose that confident feeling that the team have got, because that will show and breed into the whole squad, and you know, bottle it up. And that's what they did over the last couple of seasons, bottle up that confidence and keep going with it. So while they've got it, they will want to keep that mood in the camp as high as they possibly can, especially going into the Brighton game. And trust me, we need it, because we've got a whole host of games coming your way in March and in April. The fixture list is relentless. You get prepared for it, because it is going to go wild as West Ham fans. Anyway, last but not least, the last question was Ten Hag, and he said Manchester United are a side that are used to success, and they're climbing the ladder back to where they want to be. Eric, Ten Hag has taken a lot of credit for that. I can only look from a distance and say they're doing very well, and they are. And this is why we shouldn't underestimate this team, because under a new manager that are finding a bit of form, finding a style of play, and utilising a squad, that's a big transition that they've gone through. And you know what? With the whole Moyes situation and all the other managers they've gone through, they seem to have maybe found the one that they actually want for the future, a manager that thinks forward and thinks about the future, and looks at players that they've actually currently got and gets the best out of them. If you think about players like Martial, for example, you know, Sevilla last year on loan, bang, suddenly he's in the team scoring goals again for Manchester United in the Premier League. So finding the best in the players that he's got, so he's a good manager. But this is going to be a good contest. Let's have no ifs or buts about it. It's the FA Cup, the romance of the cup, and fingers crossed, Wednesday night, 7:45 kickoff at Old Trafford. West Ham can turn up and do a job. Imagine we could get something from this game on Wednesday night, because the momentum and the mood in our team would be absolutely bloody phenomenal, and that is exactly what we need going into the Brighton game as well. Join us later on as we get a little bit more insight into the press conference, of course, from John Coleman of Football London, who this show is in partnership with. He will be sending us a video from the press conference after it. So, of course, there is an embargo section as well. So hopefully we'll get some more information, further information on a bit more team news, etc. So join us about 5 o'clock where you'll get that brought out to you as well. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everyone. And, of course, as per usual, come on, you absolute beautiful irons.